Welcome back to our channel. I'm Michelle.
And for those of you that are new here, welcome to our channel. My name is Jessie. We are Moms on Crime, and in this channel we talk about true crime and anything paranormal. And since it's Halloween week, happy Halloween. Today Michelle has some very spooky stories for us. So what's your Halloween treat for us today, Mama?
I'm gonna read you a scary story off of Reddit. I like to go on the subreddit, so I like to go on the No Sleep subreddit on there.
Yeah.
The people that post on there, they're so incredibly talented. These stories are not necessarily true stories. Some could be, or it's like up to interpretation. I really got into this subreddit from Loie Lane and Haley Reese. I think it was like 2 years ago, from the Dear David stories, because I know I told you to go and watch the Dear David stories, because that was, I believe that's where Dear David was first posted, was on the No Sleep subreddit. But I'm not positive, but I believe that's where it started. It was on Reddit, but I believe it was on No Sleep. I'd love to go on here and read these stories to people. They're so talented. I love these stories. So if you guys want to check it out, I'm gonna put a link to this story in the description box, because you definitely have to check it out. I love going on here and reading all these stories. Before I get started, I want to remind everybody, please go ahead and subscribe to our channel, and every time we upload, you can come hang out with us, your favorite moms on YouTube.
Let's hang out.
Just in time for Halloween, this story is called Don't Ignore Trick-or-Treaters When They Come Knocking. Respect tradition.
Woo!
All right.
Already creepy.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. Halloween, how I loathe that holiday. Dark, gloomy nights, freezing winds, and all the trees are practically dead. But the one thing I hated the most about the holiday was all the damn trick-or-treating. I mean, come on, who decided that once a year everyone in the whole damn town had to buy in a boatload of candy and feed other people's kids? I mean, the diabetes crisis aside, it just seems plain wrong that I'd be expected to assist in giving little Jennifer from down the road cavities. Anyway, that's what I used to think. That is how I used to act around this time of year, until last year. I remember it well. It was a blustery, cold night. Wind was howling, and I was just about to snuggle down with my dog and watch A Nightmare on Elm Street. Then I heard it, the all-familiar giggling and excited children as their little feet tapped their way up towards my door. Oh, no, you don't, I thought to myself. Switching out the lights, I bathed the room in darkness and closed the curtains for good measure. However, this appeared to do little to prevent the trick-or-treaters, for within moments of turning off the lights, it came. That high-pitched tone from the doorbell. I ignored it defiantly. I refused to take part in a holiday created for the sole purpose of making confectionery companies profit. Ding dong, that infernal buzzer chimed, yet I refused to move. Time and again they came, new groups of kids from all over town. They'd ring my doorbell as though it was some kind of whistle, commanding me to grant them the candy they believed they were entitled to. However, each and every time they came, I just turned the volume higher on the TV until Heather Langenkamp's screams and Robert Englund's nightmare voice drowned out the doorbell. Eventually, the trick-or-treaters stopped coming. I know what you're thinking. God, what a scrounge I was. I won't deny it. My mother would always warn me not to respect the holidays, especially Halloween. Bad things happen to those who ignore tradition, my mother would often warn. I wish her words had been in my mind that night. Perhaps it could have prevented all that was to come. Alas, I was not thinking of my mother's words that night. No, instead, I was greedily shoveling popcorn and chocolate into my mouth as me and Rex, my dog, watched Friday the 13th. Then I heard it, that blasted doorbell, ring out, its buzzing sound spearing through the opening scene of the film. So I turned up the volume. They'd give up eventually, I thought. Ding dong went the doorbell, and before the chime could finish sounding out, it rang again and again, each time quicker than the last. Fine, I yelled, clambering up from my seat. I went to the door, swinging it open. Before me, a child wrapped in toilet paper, roll bandages, and another dressed in a cheap-looking Dracula getup, complete with a retro Dracula mask and slick-back hair. "Trick or treat," the two boys called out. "I'm sorry, I don't do Halloween," I said. But as I was about to close the door, the pair of them held up their burlap sack-like bags. "Trick or treat," they simultaneously repeated, gesturing their bags up to me. "Sorry, boys, I don't have any candy. Now please, you should go home. It's way too late to be trick-or-treating," I said, tapping my watch, which indicated the time was 11:30. "Trick or treat," the pair spoke once more, this time their voice twitching with a sense of urgency. "No, I told you, I don't do Halloween. Now go away," I shouted before slamming the door shut and charging back towards the living room. Ding dong, the doorbell chimed. Right, that's it. I swear I'm gonna lose it, I ran it to myself. However, as I opened the door, a gust of wind blew in, and though the voices of the children giggling and laughing echoed out, I found myself on my doorstep, empty. Street empty as well. Feeling a little spooked, I shut the door and went back to the living room. Yet, no sooner had I sat down, I heard them again. Giggling and laughing, childish sounds running around outside of my living room window. Then came a great thwack, a noise so loud it made both me and Rex jump up with fright. "They're egging my house," I thought. So like the self-assured idiot that I was, I pulled open the curtains, but it was an egg on my window. No, disturbingly, it was small, muddy handprints just slap bang in the middle of the glass pane. I looked out into the dark and saw them, the pair of them standing beneath the flickering glow of the lamppost outside. Then suddenly, they were gone. No joke, seriously, 1 minute they were there, I blinked, and they were gone. Without warning, the television switched over, with the booming voice of the news anchor nearly causing me to leap from my skin. Looking at the television, I saw the dated and colorful newsroom, and the vibrantly clothed female anchor. Her large hair sprayed bouffant and pink blazer screamed 80s, but in contrast to her bright colors, the story she reported was anything but bright. The search for two trick-or-treaters continues tonight. As concerns grow for the boys' safety, police are urging anyone with any information to come forward, and have stated that whilst it's too soon to say anything, they are not ruling out the possibility of foul play, the presenter recited. I flicked the channel back over to what I was watching, but the minute I did, there was another loud thwack. Turning towards the window, I saw another handprint had smeared itself onto the glass. Tonight, the hunt for missing twin brothers comes to a grisly and terrible end. Police have confirmed that the bodies found in the creek belong to the two boys who went missing only a week ago on Halloween night, the news presenter's voice declared. Her words came so abruptly that I was once again startled by them. Odd, perhaps. Rex sat on the remote when I wasn't looking. Yeah, that's rational. That's what I thought. However, my rationality began to slink away when I suddenly realized I had seen this televised news report before, a long time ago. It was almost a fleeting moment of remembrance, like the kind you get when reminiscing about a distant dream. Yet I was certain I had seen this report, in fact, before. 1983. The Halloween when those kids went missing. That's where I had seen it. I remember being sat on the couch watching the news with my parents at either side of me, talking about how terrible it was that this had happened in our town. I was around the same age as those boys at the time of their disappearance. So if it was that very same report, then why was it playing now on my television? I went to turn the channel over, but as I did, it instantly snapped back to the same 1980s news anchor with her bright pink blazer and large bouffant hair. Pressing the off button, the television screen went black for a minute. Then suddenly, she was back on the screen, reporting the outdated news in her bright pink blazer. Police are urging anyone who saw the boys that night they disappeared to come forward. Tim and James Coltweather were last seen headed down towards Emerson Road on the 31st of October. Their boys were dressed as Dracula and the Mummy. They were both 11 years old and quite small for their age, the newswoman recited, her voice electric and almost robotic. A cold feeling dawned on me. Emerson Road, that was my street. An even more dreaded realization sank in. Dracula and the Mummy. That's what they were dressed up as, those kids who knocked on my door earlier. Thwack, 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 thwack! A cacophony of banging struck the window of my house, shaking the structure of the room. It was like fireworks or cherry crackers were ricocheting around the two-floored home, battering every surface with violent strikes. "Stop it!" I yelled, and instantly it did just that. Everything fell silent, and Rex, my brave doggy, recoiled and shrinking himself into the corner of the room as though he had seen a ghost. I approached the window to see the damage and found the window covered in filthy handprints. There had to be hundreds of them, all clustering together, caked in mud and other foul things. "What the?" I went to speak aloud, but my words stopped short. I noticed something that thundered terror in my heart. Running my fingers across the pane, I felt the stinking, rotten earth as its wet and dripping sludge smeared onto me. The handprints were on the inside. Backing away, I looked to Rex, but he scrambled from the corner of the room and raced upstairs. Urgently, I went to follow, only for the lights to flash on without warning, flickering above me and revealing festering fingerprints and dirty hands all over the room and all throughout the house. Smash! The bulb above me exploded, showering me in glass and sparks as I fell back. Everything went dark, the television, the lights, everything. All around me was a thick black veil, and as I struggled to find my way towards the living room door, I felt it. A gust of wind raced past me, carrying with it ghostly giggles of children. "Trick!" a coarse voice cricked from behind me. I reached out for the door, but it slammed shut, locking me in the room with invasive presence. "Or treat!" another voice wheezed. A chill crucified my feet from the spot and froze me where my body stood. Then came the smell. A wretched perfume that rolled in like a nauseous fog. It filled the room and smothered the clean air, drowning my senses in a diseased miasma. I knew what the deadly stench was, and I knew what weighted my eyes as I turned to look up my tormentors. "Trick or treat," the two groaned. Their watery voices dripped the words into my ears and causing all the hair on my back and my neck to stand up. I'm sorry, I didn't know," I whimpered. Turning around slowly, I saw them standing before me. Their burlap sacks were held up towards me. Grotesquely, they no longer appeared as they had before. No, their childlike visage of youthful boys clothed in cheap costumes was now butchered and mutilated beyond recognition. One of the boys was rotten, a maggot pile of green and brown and black sludge stuffed inside soaking wet toilet paper roll bandages. The other had a deep red line cut into the skin of his throat, and his empty eye socket stared at me from behind his damaged retro vampire mask. Worse still was his skin, which was a dreadful white and lumpy like porridge of oats, and black necrosis tears cracked his porcelain lips. "Please, I didn't know, I stammered, my lips quivering with each and every syllable. Anxiously, I bowed my head and lowered my eyes, too afraid to look at their ghastly sight. "Trick or treat," urged the mummy-dressed boy, the words almost causing his decayed jaw to snap off. "Right, okay," I said. Nervously, I grabbed my popcorn bowl and the chocolate bars I had out for my horror movie marathon and began to distribute the treats between them. With shaking hands, I tipped the popcorn into the dirty burlap sacks, which they held out for me, and placed a chocolate bar in each. "Happy Halloween," they droned. The Dracula wheezed, his words gurgling. Yeah, happy Halloween," I repeated, whilst internally praying that this would sate their restless souls. Then, just like that, they were gone, and so were all the handprints or any other sign of their presence. Even the lights which had shattered above me my head were seemingly restored as they flashed back on. Yet, despite light returning and the two specters have been departed, me and my fearful companion Rex lay awake for the rest of the night. In fact, we didn't do much sleeping for the nights that followed. The ghostly visitation had left me frightened to my core, so much so that it made me go back and look up their case. It was awful. 2 10-year-old twin boys taken before their time. They never found the sicko who killed the kids, but the police suspected that it had to have been someone on Emerson Road. Worse still, they think that he must have snatched them when they came to his door and held them captive for days. The poor things were strangled and dumped in the river after a week or two. I've since moved away from Emerson Road, but even though I'm far from that place, the fear I felt that night has made sure of one thing. This Halloween, I will be entering the door to trick-or-treaters and respecting the tradition of the holiday.
Oh,
The end.
Gosh. Is that a true story or?
Yeah, it's made up. I think all these stories on this subreddit are made up on No Sleep, but still, I mean, that writing is so good. It really makes you like visualize it, you know?
That was crazy.
Very well done. And I don't know if I mentioned this. The writer is Connor B_93, but I'll put a link to the story in the description, so you can check out any other stories they've also posted on Reddit. No Sleep.
That was really, really good. I was like, oh my gosh, but it was sad at the same time.
Yeah, that's sad, but I try not to think about that part because I know it's a fake story, so I just think about that.
Yeah, because I was like, it couldn't be real because, you know, like, you're inside trick-or-treating as ghosts and stuff, but then again, it's like, oh, wait, there's a murder?
Yeah. That's my story. I hope you guys liked it.
Make sure you guys answer the door for trick-or-treaters. Well, I don't know, considering the pandemic and stuff, so.
True, but even if it's teenagers not in good costumes, give them the candy. They could be out doing way worse. You know what I mean? Give them the candy. It's not a big deal. Give them the candy. I mean, because I'm small. I'm really short, and I don't, like, you know, small. I look like a kid, you know? So I used to trick-or-treat. I trick-or-treated till I was 25. I used to go door to door with my niece and nephews, and I sure would take my candy bag home.
Yes,
I was poor.
So why not, you know? Like my husband and I always dress up with the kids, and we always go trick-or-treating. Like, sometimes we do get candies too. They're like, oh, you guys dressed up. Here, have some candy. Okay, why not? So.
People still give me candy when I go with the kids because I dress up, but I'll stand back. Now that my boys are getting older, I'll let them go up to the door by themselves. But if the people are in their driveways, they always give me candy, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah. I go at the door with my boys. Candy. Because sometimes I get
your boys are still little.
Yeah. Ooh, but so remember, open the doors for trick-or-treaters.
Open the door for trick-or-treaters. Guys, if you like this story, please don't forget to like it. Leave a comment. Tell us what you thought. If you have any scary trick-or-treating stories or Halloween stories, leave them below in the comments. We want to read them. I totally want to read them. I love this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Please don't forget to like it, though, and subscribe to our channel at the same time.
And also, don't forget to click that notification bell so that you guys can get notified every time we upload. And also, you can reach us and follow us on our social medias. We do have Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, Momsoncrime. And you can email us suggestions, comments, or whatever, momsoncrime@gmail.com. And we will see you guys next time. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Bye, guys.
Bye.